back to the garage today. Today, it's going to be a great summer project. It's really starting to look like summer here in my neck of the woods. Not that we really ever had much of a winter now, did we? We're going to install the Garmin 276cx into my Skidoo Expedition. We're going to mount it on the Glovebox Extension. We're going to use the USB kit with the wiring harness to give us a means to be able to use the power cables for the Garmin into the Snowmobile so it'll stay powered on. It does have a lithium battery on it. It will recharge, but that way then it's always on. So one of the reasons I chose the Garmin 276cx was I'm kind of set up to use Garmin. I have an e-Trex that I've been using for years. I have a lot of campsites mapped on it, a lot of trails mapped on it. I'm used to using the Basecamp software on my laptop and loading my GPS before I go on a trip. And I have some mapping cards, the SD mapping cards that work with the Garmin. And you know, so I have a bit of investment in the Garmin platform. I also have an investment in the Spot Messenger, which is my satellite messenger I use. So I didn't really want to switch platforms to move to the InReach, which a lot of the newer models of Garmin are based, they have InReach built into it. It's a great platform, just like the Zoleo and the rest of them. They all work really well. But once you start using one, you tend to kind of stick with one. The units themselves are you know, a few $100s, so you know, you do try to stay with them. So that's kind of the reasons behind what I got around choosing this one. It allowed me to. It wasn't an automobile-based one. It wasn't a motorcycle-based one. It wasn't purely an off-road one. So this one really fit the bill for using how I plan to use it. And of course it does now. It's a little bit big to bring if you're hiking, but if you're canoeing, you could probably bring this to get a bigger screen if you want it. But it's a good summer project here. As this season's all worn down. So if you're looking at this type of thing to install, hopefully you'll find this video useful. All right, so we're going to take a look in the bag here in the box. What I need to do first, and well, what I'm choosing to do first, rather than going in and starting to take everything, all the plastics off the Skidoo and put the glove box on and the extension on, etc. I'm going to do the wiring first here on the bench, make it a little bit easier. There is a cord in here that will need to be attached to the wiring harness here, and I'm going to open up the wiring harness, take a look and see the best way that I'm going to attach it. But first I'm going to get the wiring harness out of the box. GPS. Battery's already attached on the back. So they give you a cradle in this if you want to mount it somewhere, like flat, like a boat. I think that's what they call it, the marine. I think it's a bail mount they refer to that. Won't be using that. This is a power adapter, a USB charger. So a little screwdriver in here. I think it has something to do with removing, maybe on the bail mount or tightening something up. Tightening the mount, I think the mount in here is what it's for. This is what I'm after. It's right inside here. This is the mount and the power cable. So there's the cradle. That we will take this piece off the back here. I think that's where the screws are for. We'll take this piece off the back, and that'll give us the 4 screws that will mount on the face of the unit, on the face of the dash box extender. So this little power cord here pops up into there when you're not using it. I don't know if you can catch that there. This little indent in there. Pushes in. Line this up. And it locks on, and it'll ride on the dash like that.
And then to remove it, there's a little push button up here. We just pop it off, and then you can take it with you. You don't have to leave it connected to the sled. As we know, if we leave something like that connected to the sled, it's not going to be there when we come back. All right. So, according to the wiring harness, this is an audio cable. That's the power. I believe the black will be the negative. We got a positive and a negative here. I think there's a 10. This is a 3 amp fuse in here. 2 amp. Little 2 amp fuse in there. All right. Okay, we got some pieces to take apart here. We're watching the Calgary-Edmonton game. I think Calgary's out of the playoffs this year, so it doesn't make any difference. Winnipeg did play today. We made the playoffs. We made the playoffs. I was actually at the game when we made the playoffs. Wasn't bad. Good game. Played, played Calgary the other night? Yeah. All right. A little USB connector to add in there. USB-C, USB-A. Very nice. That'll be handy to have in there. Alright, it's got little spade connectors on the end. I was thinking about tapping into these. These are just a standard lug. I'm going to check and see if I have flat, like other lugs. These ones are square, which are handy. Go into here. But I'm thinking either tap in, go back into here, into this wrap in here, or try to tap right into the joint here. That'll be in the right spot underneath there. But then we got 2 here, so we'll take a look, see what this one's doing. We'll check the instructions on brp.com. We'll give you that, tell you that's where you go get your instructions. They're actually pretty good online. I did bring my iPad out. We'll take a look at that. Okay, we're going to take the screws off of the bail here, holder, because we're not going to use that. So. See if I have some small screws for these nuts on the back of that. So I don't think there's anything that comes in the glove box. Yeah, there's no screws that come on the glove box assembly here, so. I know there are markings on the back for it. Definitely seems to fit those. So, sit on there like that. That works pretty good. Gives you a nice. I wonder if I need all this. All right, we'll bring you back when we make our way a little bit more, because I don't know if I need all of these pieces here, which are going to make it hard to fit this wire through the back, because that's where it's going to have to go, right through the back of the glove box control. So I'm going to have to put a hole through here to fit this through, but I don't want to put a big hole that's going to have to take all this, like fuse and this. And if the system's already fused, I'm not sure if I need the 2 amp fuse on it. I'll see what the fuse on the accessory circuit is. Because if it's like a 5 or a 10 amp fuse, it's a 10 amp fuse. Probably might want to still keep a 2 amp one on here so it doesn't drive too much power to it. But I think we'll consult the guide and the manuals and we'll take it from there. All right, so we gave it an overnight to think, and sometimes that's the best way to deal with things, is to take a little bit of time, think it through, and decide if what you're doing is really the route you want to go. I decided it wasn't the route I wanted to go, but since we left off, I cut this off right at the join here, because I only needed the red and black wire. I also didn't want to have to drill a hole big enough to accept this. I would have had to go to something like a 7/16 hole to at least get this thing through it. And I didn't want to drill that big of a hole in my glove box if I could avoid it. I also will have no use for the audio cable. If it connects by Bluetooth to my headset, that's different. I could probably deal with that, but I'm not going to be plugging in another audio cable to my my helmet. And what I have in my helmet is the Cardo backpack or Pack Talk Edge helmet communicator. So the audio is just not going to work on being delivered that way. So I'm going to have to kind of put this fuse in here, as well as a black wire, and the red and blacks are in here. These cables, the purple and the green are for the audio, and the red and the red, green, and the blue are all for the serial data connection, which none of that I'm using. I'm only using the red and black to get the power. So this is the BRP, or the Bombardier extension, and I took the wrap off it. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to keep this one intact. When I saw how it was connected and the rest of it, I didn't feel like cutting into this. What I did do is I did go by the dealer and I got this generic one. Paid way too much at the dealer for this, other than ordering it through Royal. Royal would have been a lot more cheaper, and but I would have had to wait maybe a week or so and pay shipping on it. So by the time I added the shipping to the rest of it, still might have been a little cheaper. But anyways, it's in my hands. I'm able to work on it tonight. It is what it is. So the extension has the accessory has a female end. The male end goes into that, gives you an extension, and I am going to tap into it from here, and that will give me another accessory off of that. And that's what we're going to use to tap into here. Now we're going to rewrap this, basically put back on what I took off. And while we do it, we're going to listen to the masters. Yeah. There we go. All right, that sure didn't take very long now, did it? All right, so we got the BRP one. It's nice, I like it. Now before we go and cut this one open, I'm gonna open up underneath and make sure that which pigtail is the right pigtail.
The interviews, I can't wait to watch them play on Thursday, but I can't wait to listen to what they have to say tomorrow.
John Rahn's certainly going to be interesting, and Rich, I know.
Even with the solar eclipse shading the sky over Augusta this afternoon, you could still see the singular star around which the golfing unit.
And it is cable speeds.
All right, a little bit awkward to get in here, but we're gonna drill the holes. The back of the plate here, you see, 4 little spots that we need to drill, and we are using an 1164 bit to do that. They call for a 13/64. It's a little bit bigger. I don't think I need that amount of space there. So I'm going to go with this one. Go right in here.
#1 daytime talk show, weekdays on CTV.
Look, there we go. 4 nice spots. Nice and cleanly drilled. Just drilled the holes out using I think it was an 11/32 inch bit. Not quite the full size that they asked for, but a little bit smaller one. Some of the screws that I have here didn't need a big bit, so went with a smaller one. Next we'll be seeing where we need to drill this piece that goes through.
Relative to how bad the bad ones are, and this week the bad ones were still in play and not too bad, and I was able to, scramble well enough when I did hit a few poor ones, but again, overall...
2 weeks ago, just to get, he said it was a second set of eyes. He's also talked about it's not going to show up until tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, I think, on the one hand, I can see Scotty Scheffler. It sets up for much like this year. The most part of the match, because there have been so many players.
Here we go. All right, here we are. Hold in.
Is good form coming to this
Feeder wire through.
2021 champ Hideki Matsuyama. He won at Riviera. Typically, that's a good indication of how you'll play here at Augusta National. Sunday, 62 there.
There we go. Line up through there. Comes through the back. I think I'm going to need some longer screws for this.
Generations. It can
Pretty
be
sure.
quite surprising, disconcerting sometimes, humbling always. Yet they face these odds again.
Yeah, I'll need longer screws. These ones won't go through. The other ones I have are too long. They're like about 2.5 inch long screws. So. All right. Well, we have to put this through, at least, because we can't start soldering on this until we feed this end through wherever we need it to go. I've made my connections that I required. I needed an extra connection. I have to wire these together. Before I do that, I think I will have to, I want to make sure that I can reach the fuse. When I put it together, that we're able to reach the fuse without having to take the top and everything apart. And I have to drill a hole in here in the glove box for the wire to go through. Took the top off to be able to get at the little connector here. Where are we here? Took the hood off to get at the connector, the accessory connector under there. Put a little wire on it, and I got my 2 harnesses here to be able to work on that. All right, so got the mount on here for the GPS. Got the wire coming out of it. I want to keep it. I mean, get a couple of those stick-on zip tie mounts. Put one there. Bring it down through the side here on it. If I bring it down through the side here, that'll put the hole somewhere in this area. I don't want it to be caught if I'm pulling something out of here. So like if you're reaching in and pulling it out, I don't want it to be caught on anything. So I think, because this is coming off on an angle off at the side, I want to bring it through the side here on this area. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm either going to put it in this side wall here, this little flat part, or into the back here. I'm just going to go check on the Expedition and see how much clearance there is if the wire can feed out of there comfortably and not be pinched. As you can see here, there's just enough room there. There is enough room over here. I think I can take the wire out here, and there'll be enough room to feed it around. So I think that'll work. We're going to go into the side. We'll go down about here, I think. About here. So we made a note where we want the hole to go, and pulled out the drill bits and measured against the wire that I'm going to put through. And the wire itself is in and around the 7/32. I'm going to go a little bigger. I'm going to go to a 1/4 inch. And that'll give me enough room that it won't pinch against it as it goes through. Makes it a little easier too to feed this end through. Because if you ever have to replace it, it's going to have a large end on the other end. You're not going to be able to feed it in and out. And it'll be too thick. I could probably even go to the thickness of this and be able to run that through there. So that might be a thing too. Might be able to do that. In fact, actually, I like that opinion. Maybe I'll find one that'll work for this thickness. Here, it'll be a little bit bigger, but it'll protect the wires as they go through. Actually, gotta go quite big with this then. Not sure I want to do that. Okay, all right. When I make up my mind, I'll let you know. All right. So I just measured that, coming in at 3/8 on here. So I think we'll look for a 3/8 inch bit. But with the plastic, sometimes it's easier to go through it with a step bit. Yes, this one goes up to a 3/8 inch as well. Might use the step bit to go through the side. I think I like that. These are sometimes a little better to control to put them through. So we'll take this over to the drill press and we'll put a hole in here. Always a good idea to put a little mark or a tape on here so you don't go any deeper than where you want to go. There we go. Nice little 3/8 inch hole right through. All right, that worked out rather well. Here's our part. Stick it through. Pull down the wires. Push it through. There we go. Remember, we want to put this one on it. So we'll feed some of this on this end. Stick that through as well. I don't know if I need this much, but let's see what we end up with. There we go. There. And then we got the wire here. Now we need to make a connection to this part.
Yeah, birdie 2, big call at 4, which was a mistake. Let's see if we can get this wedge shot close.
Struggling a little bit requires you to do that. That's just an average wedge shot. You'll have that from Curry though. Yeah, he's actually got a pretty open shot. As like I said, this is 182 yards. It's sitting down a little bit, so when it lands, it could knuckle a little bit. Not much rough. Straight to shot. I wouldn't call that a very good shot for you. You got a pretty decent break off the tee for a 4 tee shot.
Rory will be looking to get up and down there. Now Scheffler on 8 is this putt for par.
Yeah, so we've been looking so comfortable the last few weeks with this club right here. Let's see if we can keep that same rhythm he's had. Big difference going to that face balance or more of a lot higher. I just think it's just a little short iron coming in. 6 under par is a nice place to make a little birdie. This whole location on that kind of back right, it kind of really narrows up a long green, 38 steps deep.
And the greatest players know when to remain calm, to act, and when to partner with the world's best.
PGA Tour Superstore pros aren't born. They're made. Every GM over one
Still don't like it.
all so they can get you.
NBC Sports exclusive coverage of the PGA Tour is presented by Verbo.
Welcome back into our continuing coverage of the RBC Heritage. Rory McIlroy. He's third on 10.
That was one of the best. It may get better, but not by much. We expected that to spin a little bit. Well, they appear to be so flat. It's just like you said, just some subtle little breaks. That's the tricky part about this golf course.
Now Tom Hogan, second. Did he get his second win on the PGA Tour this week?
So
Now taking a look at the leaderboard.
all these wires were trimmed
Plenty of
a little
chasers
shorter. Each one's a little shorter.
to get their win this week. Now soccer is running.
And I got my little piece here. Bring it down. This.
Harper Town Golf Links is some of the biggest names in the game, in contention here at this signature event.
There we go. All connected up.
Look at the 7th hole and put this tee location back into a whole new area.
But Ricky said he wasn't on his good ball streak yesterday, but now just get it around and just put a good number on it.
See, you didn't go with the claw grip there, Frank. You went conventional.
Yeah, the other change last week as well after the first round. So you still some indecision. So, Oberg was not the only
Oh, it goes in one way.
through the green at 7. Both of those shots
There we go, eh?
They were shocked to see it over there. It's some tough shots though. Everything runs away. Andrew Rogers, I think the play is.
What do you think, Coach? Rather be in the sand because you can get that blade way open and maybe get some more spin?
That's where the moving is so much more predictable. But like I said, tough. He's going to open this one right open. Just trying to chase all the way down. Might pull the butter. I mean, how good is this guy? Wow. He's got all the shots.
He doesn't waste much time out there. Once he's decided that.
All right.
Kids at home watching, take note, play that fast.
Agreed.
Leave.
Doesn't take much time either. They shoot 66,
Positive brass.
66 in the first 2 days.
And throws a great pace to his game. 300 through the first 7.
This one.
Let's go to 11.
There we go.
Pause at the top. Enjoy watching that today.
Out of that Barry.
Pack at 6.
Clean up here on all 3 for Colin. Good time with the core.
I would went to conventional just because he hit so much ground to come back to give it such a big hit.
We will need to drill the holes on this though. That's the only thing I forgot to do. Drill those holes. All right. Let's take a look at the instructions and see what hole I have to drill for that. I think I'm going to go small through here, and then I'll drill it out from the top a little wider.
Is part of the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Hamilton from the Charleston Post and Courier, he described this place as pristine beaches, he said.
What do we got here for screws? They really like these Torx things, don't they? Here we go. Got the Torx bit. Tight. Tight. All right. Slide gauge support under door, secure glove box, previously removed. All right. Let's take it back to the sled. Boom. Right. We got our 2 cords here. We got our extension from the bottom. We have our GPS extension here. We have 1, 2 from the accessory harness. So this one, we'll do the longer one to the one underneath. Clip that in. You see that there? Click. Take the longer one and the shorter one. Clip those 2 together. Wrap them in here. Okay, we're in. We are in. Across the board. And we're down. So 2 amp fuse here is still accessible if it goes out. We gotta get this glove box part in. I think, how does this go? Okay. I'm gonna somehow pack some of this down. So this was an awful lot of futzing around to get this in. I had to really work the wiring down in there and make sure it all got down. I had to push some wiring down this way. I think the cutout there is for the brake to come out like that. But it's on, it's tightened down. Do want to kind of clean this part up just a bit. It is holding in down here, holding in there pretty good. The box does rub on somewhere in here. Not exactly certain where, but you can feel it rubbing on somewhere on the thing, but it is closing nice and tight. And most importantly, pop this on, flip it on, and I don't have my key, but I have a GPS. Very cool. Looking forward to that. Gonna be pretty cool. There we go. Got ourselves a nice GPS. All right. There we go. Perfect. Just what I wanted it to do. Now we wait for snow.